How are we doing over there, David? All right, good to go. Interesting question this morning from Kevin about consciousness, really. Here. We are. We simply are. We have been conditioned to think in particular ways. We have learned to focus our attention outwardly. It's not particularly a bad thing. It can be a troublesome thing. We focus outwardly, but we should be focused both ways at the same time, inwardly and outwardly. The first encounter as we focus outwardly are the words. It's the thing I've said to you before, that if something is in front of you, if you can see it, it's not you. Now, seeing it doesn't just mean with your eyes. Seeing it means in your consciousness. That is, I think XXXX. That means I see XXXX. It is not me, but listen to the sentence. I see. Which means that you are separate from what you see. A child is born without the words, but yet the child sees. And the child learns. So what is it in the child that learns? It is that thing that just sees. An interesting thing I noticed yesterday that I had not noticed before. I'm at the airport 4 hours before my flight because I got to get the car turned in, otherwise they charge me an extra day, and I tried to get on an earlier flight, and they said, that'll be $50. Well, I figured $50, 4 hours, what the hell? 4 hours doesn't cost anything. I'm sitting there, and there's an Indian family that I can't assume, but it seems that they had just gotten to America because only one person spoke English, and it's about 8 of them. And I'm watching them trying to get through security. It was really very strange because the woman is trying to go through and the other woman is saying, no, I have to pat you down. And the woman says, put 1 foot ahead. And the woman goes like she's being held up. She's like, no, anybody speaking English? Can anybody translate? Well, one guy way at the end of the line. It's like, why aren't you up there with him? But anyway, as this family was going through, there were babies, and I heard a baby cry in whatever language Indians, those particular Indians. Them dar Indians, boy. Woo! Background is showing. My slip is showing. I heard the child babbling in the mold of their language. Generally, you hear children babble and they just babble. And, oh, how cute. They're learning the language. The child is learning the personality. Okay. What is learning the personality? What is learning the personality can't be defined. This is why I say to you to be a stoic personality, a bubbly personality, or whatever all those things are that we define is not what you are. It is a learned process. If you can see that, and identify that, that's not what you are. And what we're after here is what you are. Only that brings peace. The recognition of what you are. To recognate. It means that you were cognitive aware at some other time, when you were a child, before you began the babble of your language. To recognate that experience of being. Who am I? Well, there is no answer as I am Joe, I am masculine, I am blah, 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 whatever all that is. There's no answer like that. I can only be that thing that observes. That is what I am. Something happens in that thing. Laughter happens in that thing. It just happens. It's not what I am. It happens within what I am. Well, what is what I am? That's allowing it to happen. You say, I laugh. I cry. If left to my own devices, I would never say that. But because I live in a world where I must speak the language of the village people, the villagers, because if you don't, they come after you with torches. They storm your castle with torches. In that world, I will say, I laugh. It's not true. Laughter happens within me. It happens. Stuff happens within me. That's the truth. Where does it come from? I don't know. I don't know. It just comes. I'm not concerned any longer with where it comes from. It shows up, and that's cool. I am. It is. Is? Is. Now, to simply say that, ask that. If I said is, you would look at me like I was nuts. But that's the only thing that could be said about that. What is it that observes everything that you do? What is it that asks the question about what you do? That asks the question about what you do is the same thing as the question. That knows never says anything. It's just there. You must become acquainted with that. That's why all the techniques, that's why all the work, because it takes a long time to get the point. It takes a long time to just understand that what you're supposed to be doing. It takes years. Why is that? Because you have to sort through all the possibilities that you think of what something means. You have to sort through that. And finally, one day, you come to the point, sorting through this is nonsense. Let me just leave it all alone. Let me leave it alone. Let me be. Let me stop sorting. What is this, the post office? It was a joke I told many years ago. A guy working at the post office, his first day there. And they told him, you work the sorter. Okay. He came back 15 minutes later. This guy was boom, boom, bang, 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 all behind his head. And he said, wow, you really are good at this. He said, yeah, wait till I learn what I'm supposed to be doing. That's the way we are. We're just sorting. We don't know what we're doing. We're just sorting. When we learn what we're supposed to be doing, we get really good. So, the bottom line is just surrender and let what comes out of the no thing, out of the ithers, out of that place, let it arise. It will arise, like laughter arises, like peace arises. It is the acceptance of something that nothing else can be done with aside from acceptance. Nothing else can be done with it. That's all you can do. Accept that I am. It's like death. The only thing you can do with it is accept it. Something Roger Ebert said. He said, I'm going to be here. He's dead the next day. It's all right to die. It's all right to go. It's all right to die in more ways than one. It's great to have the personality die, because then the load of the personality of having to keep this thing up, it's great to have that load off. You see, I care about everything, but I don't care about anything. Now, how do you understand that? You have to come to that spot. I care the most about things. I care more about things than most people do, simply because most people care about themselves in the situation. It's about you. I don't see it that way. My view of it is much larger. I'm not particularly caring about myself in the situation. I care about the whole. That's what moves me. That's what happens. That's what creates the ripple in that stillness. That is what I am. And those things will be what creates the ripple in what you are. As soon as the other thing gets out of the way, as soon as the yakety, 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 yakety gets out of the way. You see, I may want to explain myself. I am different from you. I go through the world. Let me tell you, I am different from you. I am different. Why? Why? Why do you want to create that disturbance in your mind? You see that you're different. They don't see that you're different. They think you're like them. So, what are you going to say that's going to make them know anything different? There's nothing you're going to say that's going to do that. I would say in front of a group, yes, I'm different. But I'm not. I'm quite different. But I'm not. I'm still walk around here and limp around, back hurts, knees hurt, you know. But I have recognized me. I've accepted me. And me just looks. It doesn't care. But yet it does. Because something happens in that quiet. Something disturbs the quiet. It's like throwing a stone in the water and the ripples happen. But the ripples have no name. For most people, they name the ripples. Okay. I don't know what the ripples are. I know they make me feel a certain way. They don't make me feel angry, because angry is a word that I call them. When I stop calling it that, the energy kind of flattens off of that wave and becomes its natural self. And what its natural self is, there's no name for it. It's energy, and you will respond in kind. Sitting there and watched a man go nuts because he wanted his slice of pizza burned on the edges. And he's raising hell. I pay my money, man, for my cheese. I want my cheese like I want it. It's cheese, man. It's going to clog your arteries anyway, you know. Hey. But he's raising hell about not having his cheese burnt crispy on the edges. Well, that's not what it's about, but that's what the noise was. And there's 50 people in the airport little restaurant going, what? And laughing. I was laughing too. You know, it's like, wow. It just happened in the space. I had no judgment about it. It just laughed. Then I went back to reading the comic strip. By the way, the most interesting part of the paper, I find. I remember even what I was reading. I was reading about Ruthie. Ruthie is a little girl. She gets out of bed in the middle of the night, and she goes downstairs to her little dog named Willie and said, come with me. And she takes Willie back to her bedroom, and they get in the bed, and she says, you know, the branch scratching the window outside makes me think of monsters trying to get in my room. And then there's the blue monster under the bed, and there's the alligator monster in the closet. But when you're with me, Willie, I feel so at peace. And she goes to sleep, and the next frame you see the dog. That's what I was reading. Enjoying it because of the chuckle, the smooth energy. And there was a guy raising hell about crust on his pizza. They had to get the manager and the security about his cheese not being burned. We want people to know who we are. That is not who we are. We must know who we are. We must know the smoothness of our being. When energy flows, it's smooth. You stop trying to be someone. The point is, I have no personal axe to grind. I have no personal thing to indulge in. So what they hear from me and what they feel from me is very pleasant. They like being around me. And that's a good thing. Because I have no personal axe to grind. Well, you didn't push me right in the wheelchair. Well, hey, I got my big ass sitting in a wheelchair, and I'm being pushed around the airport. What have I got to complain about? There's this little skinny guy trying to get up this hill.
Did you get out and help him?
I thought about it. It's like, man, do you need some help? I figured $5 was good. That'll help you. I know that his son is in a special school and does very well in physics. I know that his wife is a teacher. I know all these things about all these people. Because I say, hello, how are you? How's your family? And they tell me about their family. They tell me about themselves. Meanwhile, that thing is just watching. It doesn't really care. But something arises in that ocean something arises that cares, that connects. It appears to be more than one part, but it is only one part in which something is happening. Now, what is it that happens? Indefinable. The recognition is just the recognition. I relate to that which is quiet. When it has a disturbance, a ripple, the ripple is acknowledged. The same as the ripple of reality happens in that same thing. The ripple that you call the Big Bang, the ripple that you call the creation of the universe, is nothing more than a ripple of acknowledgement. I talk to the scientists and I listen to the scientists. They believe that you observe the actions of a thing. An atom reacts this way. If you do this, it reacts this way. This reacts this way. And that it has no consciousness. When you know who you are, you know that consciousness is the reason for everything. It is that thing that is the thing and is without the thing. It is when Jesus called Judas aside from the rest of the disciples. I think he had come into the room and they were all sitting around talking some stupid religious bullshit. And Jesus starts to laugh. He's just cracking up like he heard the worst joke in the world. He's just cracking up. And well, the disciples get pissed at him. Well, you never get pissed at your master if you believe he's the master. They get pissed. What are you laughing about? He said, you fools. That's nuts, what you're talking. Well, they get all upset, and he says, okay, the one of you who has it all clear, stand up and meet me eye to eye. Let that which is in you meet what's in me eye to eye. Of course, everybody went, they start to mumble among each other. And the one who stood up was Judas. He said, well, whatever he said to him doesn't matter. What matters is what Jesus said to him. He said, the kingdom is within and without. To know that which is within is to know that which is without. Consciousness. Consciousness. You can't define it, but it is within and without. It is within everything. Everything. It is you, but it is you. The law. One of the things I mentioned earlier, that I've been going through stuff from way back and remembering stuff. I got to remembering stuff about the heart, seeing that I have one. I may have used this example before. In the heart, at the top of the right atrial, which is the upper chamber, in the upper room. Oh no, that's a gospel song. in the upper right chamber, there is a node. God, I almost went to another bad song. There is a node. No, that's Balm in Gilead. It is the pacemaker of the heart. It sets the beat. It's the drummer. sets the beat at 60 to 70 beats per minute. We call this the atro node, whatever. What it does is it sends electrical impulses into the right ventricle and the left ventricle and down the septum. The septum is that divides the heart. When it gets down the septum, it comes to the atrioventricular node. What that node does is slows the beat down to between 40 and 50 beats a minute. Now, the reason for that is because blood runs into the upper chambers. It's not pumped in there. And then once the upper chambers fill, the valve opens and the blood just runs down into the ventricle chambers, the lower chambers. And once it fills the chamber, then the heart goes boom and pushes about 20 to 30% more blood into that chamber, so it expands the chamber to give it the force to send the blood out to the pulmonary artery and to the aorta. So it slows the atrioventricular node, slows it to 40 to 50 beats to allow that last squeeze of the upper ventriculars to get the blood out before the next beat happens. So you have this timing. The message then goes down to what is called the atrioventricular septum, I think. And that splits into two and goes to the ventricle chambers. So the message that starts here slows here so that this happens and then picks up speed and pumps at the end. Bam! Now, that is a law. Do what you are supposed to do and everything works to provide for success in the end. The first node is not trying to do the job of the second node. The second node is not trying to do the job of the first node. Neither chamber is trying to do the job of the other chamber. It does what it does to cause the whole thing to work. And when you look at that, that has to be the result of consciousness. It can be no accident, something that complex. And it takes its rest. It rests for a quarter of a second. Beat after beat, minute after minute, hour after hour, day after day, year after year. This is the result of consciousness. It's not just happening. Oh, a bunch of amoebas got together and said, oh, hell, let's get together here. You do what you want to do, I'll do what I want to do, and we'll take the amoeba class forward. They all die. That is the law. This is the law. The law of consciousness. Wow. If we were to do that, we would be free of our stresses. We would all be doing exactly what we needed to do to keep the whole thing going and still have a rest period. You follow? This is the way it works. How do you know what is without? By knowing what is within. Everything passes before consciousness. What we need to do is to just be still and allow it to express itself. We can say that we're all the same, but we're all different. You can take that same system, the circulatory system. Once that artery leaves the heart, it becomes a carotid artery, which takes blood to the heart, to the head, to the brain. But it divides. It doesn't become a different substance, but it goes into beneath the collarbone. It becomes the subclavian artery. Then it goes into the armpit, where it becomes the axillary artery. Same artery. Then it goes into this part of the arm. It becomes the brachial artery. Then it divides down here and it becomes the radius and ulnar artery. Same vessel. Different names. Same vessel, different names. The large artery, carotid, aorta, they have muscles, but they are basically elastic. Their job is to squeeze, not to pump, but to squeeze, keep the pressure going. That's their job. They don't do anything except squeeze. Keep the blood, all right, it's like the police. Nothing more to see here. Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Goes into smaller arteries. Okay? These smaller arteries, their job, maintain body heat, direct blood to different organs. Okay, it's got little doors, little valves. They open and close. All right, come on in. Club is full. Okay, you go over here. Its job is to take the blood to the capillary bed. The capillary's job is to distribute oxygen, distribute nutrients to that particular organ, to remove waste, to take deoxygenated blood back through the system. You see, everything has its place and doesn't lose its place. It doesn't lose its place. It's what it is. It's consciously what it is. It doesn't have a bunch of words going around, so, well, okay, it's your turn to do this now. No. It's not over there, well, I can do it. I can do this. I can do this. Do you. Do you. First, recognize what you are. Are you a major artery? Are you a capillary? What are you? One is not more important than the other. Take any one out of the equation, the whole thing falls. The whole thing falls apart. This is the law. And the law is the law of consciousness. It is much too complex to be just haphazardly thrown together. How do we know these things? We stop. We become quiet. How do we become quiet? We stop fighting with the words. We accept what shows itself in the disturbance, what shows itself in the mirror of my consciousness. I accept. I accept that. What am I? I am that which is accepting what is happening in my consciousness. Once I learn to accept it, I am guided. I am guided to my fate. And fate isn't a stagnant place. It's different at each point. It's like the artery. It's the carotid, it's the subclavian, it's the axillary, it's the humerus. At different points in the experience of your being, it is something different. It functions differently. The large arteries have smooth muscle plus 80% is elastic. Now when you get to the middle arteries, the ones that fight disease, the ones that control volume, controls the way it flows, they're 80% muscle and 20% elastic muscle. Same artery. Okay. Same artery. So at different points, it becomes something different. We have to allow that to happen through our experience with life. We don't just become a stroke. Okay? We don't just become a stroke and kill yourself by jamming up all this crap, by lying to yourself about who you are. You accept that consciousness. Just pay attention. Just give up the fight. You see, I don't have to be anybody. As Jesse Jackson would say, I am somebody. Not quite the same. Why do I have to pretend to be something when I already am something? Why should I have to do that? That doesn't make any sense. I want to be accepted. I don't care whether you accept me or not. I don't care. Because I know who I am, and I know you don't know who you are. Because if you knew who you are, you wouldn't be trying to accept me or not accept me. If you knew who you were, then we would be the same person. Hey, how you doing? Nice to see you. Take it easy. That statement that I made a long time ago, if I know who I am and you know who you are, there's only one of us in this room. There's only one of us on this planet. There's only one of us in existence. Someone once asked me about those who come. And my point to them, it's the same one every time. Give them whatever name you give them. It's the same one. Why? There's only one. Can't be other than the same one. That consciousness, it doesn't deny itself. It just is. It just is what it is. Except, you know, I want you to just get a moment. If you can get a split second of not saying one thing, just a split second, that's who you are. And all that matters is the recognition of that. That's all that matters, is that recognition. Anything you have to say, what you have to understand is anything you have to say is nothing but a bunch of bullshit. Straight at you. Straight, no chaser. However you want to take it. Nothing but a bunch of crap. I listened, sitting in that airport for, I don't know, I think I had to turn in the car at 11:30 or something like that, and I didn't leave there until like 4:30 or something in the afternoon. But I listened, and I watched. Hardly anyone was sitting. Oh, but did you see those shoes in there? Well, my man said so-and-so and so-and-so, and like, noise, 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 noise about nothing. Nothing. I'm sitting under a sign that says, Flight XXXX, Chicago. Woman comes by. Are you going to Chicago? Nah. I understand she didn't know, but she just had this. She was one of these people, these bubbly, sparkly, have to say something people. Why? Have to have something to say. Have to have something to do. I could just sit there. So I just sat there. And watched how they couldn't spend any time with themselves. Watched the woman talking about how she couldn't stand short men. And she's about this tall, with some shoes on about that tall. I just don't like short men. Shorty. All these things about nothing. We have to understand that these are only symbols of something. Why must we spend so much time with the symbols, trying to make ourselves look good, trying to be other than our consciousness, trying to make ourselves have some status? You want status among thieves and crooks and idiots? That means I have to be the chief idiot in order to have status among the idiots. I want to be the chief idiot, so I'll be more idiot than you are. I'll be dumber than you are. Watched the guy the other day, Mark Kirk, staunch, I'm against gay marriage. Stroke, bam, huh?
He's for it now, right?
Yeah, right. Well, that's the point. Stroke, bam. Oh my God, people have the right to be loved by people around them, no matter who they are. I'm for it. That bam takes you out of the crap. And all you have to do then is be. Yes, Kevin.
Is being quiet for a second a recognition of it? Or
Only if you take advantage of that quiet. To see, that's who I am. I am that quiet. Being quiet only provides the opportunity to recognize it. You can't define it. You can't see it. You can experience it. You can feel it. Just for that moment. Meditation expands it. The technique expands it just a little. But all of that is designed to allow the recognition. Those are just techniques. Does that make sense?
yeah. And when you say recognition, what do you mean? I mean, you said the word a lot, but I guess I've never understood what you meant when you said recognition.
I accept that quiet is what I am. That's the recognition. That's about all I can say about it. Just continue to do it, to do the work at it, and you'll understand it just by continuing to have the experience of it. Does that make sense to you? Just, here I am.
Okay, so being raised in this society, I would immediately think the experience of it is one thing over here that maybe I would find gratifying to myself and my efforts. But when you say the experience of it, you mean what?
The quiet. Not this, not that. If I were a body of water, I know the fish are swimming in me, but I am the water, not the fish. I accept that I'm the water, not the fish. That's about it. Yes, sir.
You once said, everyone knows. Everyone knows.
Everyone knows.
The awareness of the consciousness is what makes us do the work. I mean, socially, this is acceptable, but I'll speak for me in particular.
Mm-hmm.
Because of awareness of consciousness, makes you do the work. Otherwise, you'd think you're just fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And that what you said about the heart and the law, that's like pure consciousness.
Pure
My
consciousness.
will says to move my arm.
Yeah.
400 things just happened.
That's right.
I can't explain what happened, but that happened.
That
I wanted it to.
Yes,
That's why
absolutely.
the law is the law is the law.
That's why the law is the law. Absolutely. That is true. Yes, Mark.
So, the dreams of waking up continue to happen. Last time when I woke up, no. So when I went to sleep, I never actually completely went to sleep. And I found myself with my eyes closed, trying to open my eyes. And at a point, I opened my eyes and boom, I was there in the dream. I knew I was in the dream.
Mm-hmm.
Later, I recognized that this was happening as I was going to sleep. This time, I didn't completely blank out.
Yeah.
Then I recognized something else. I believe that this is the process, this is one of my original questions to myself, that this is the process that happens when you die.
That's right.
The idea is to stay, not blank,
Not to blank out. That's right. Absolutely.
to carry that through,
Yeah.
to allow that experience and that energy to open you to where you can make a conscious choice.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you end up in the same place you were before because it never really got done.
Right. Yes, that's true. That is what the technique is designed to do. To expand one's awareness of the whole thing. That when you die, only the body drops. But if you die in ignorance, it's like you go to sleep and you blank out, and then you have at some point you have another dream, and that dream brings you right back to this dream. It's called rebirth. But once you understand that you have a choice as to what you choose to dream and where you choose to dream. It is all a dream. It's all a dream. Living is a dream. The Platters.
So, in that experience, and just in this lifetime, the struggle to, well, at one point I sat down to meditate and I stopped. I wasn't meditating, I didn't do anything. And I realized, and I remember you saying, eventually the answer is just stop everything. Just stop. And somehow or another that made sense in that moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it came back. The stuff came back. Well, what it did and what it does, those experiences teach us. It's like not going completely to sleep, but recognizing it teaches us that there is more to reality than what we have observed it to be. What that is meant to do is expand your consciousness. Part of that expansion, when you realize that, then just how important is what you do in this reality? It is important, but it's not important enough to lie to yourself about and to go around causing problems and to go around with a bunch of bullshit. Okay? It's not important to go around shooting people. It's not important enough to go around bullying people. It's not important enough to go around whatever. Okay, this country against that country and this person against. It's not that important. What is important is for us to do what we need to do to uplift the whole of humanity. And this is something that we should recognize from that expansion that, wait a minute, whoa, there's more to it than this. Then something else is important, not this. But I don't want to be misunderstood, that this has no importance. It has great importance, just not to the point that you make yourself nuts. Does that make sense? So that's what happens.
So the struggle to, I call it a struggle because in me clearly it's a struggle, to let go, so above, so below, is that, because that seems to be the natural process.
Yeah, it is, but the thing that you have to deal with now is stop struggling.
Right, clearly.
Just be. Stop struggling.
Was that part of the origin within itself?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so
So it's okay. It's just what it is.
it's okay. It's just what it is. We struggle when we believe that we have two different beliefs. I am. There's no struggle in me. Because one belief is just like another one. I believe in the great God. I believe in this great God. Struggle. I don't believe anything. To believe means I don't know. I know. I know because I'm still. I know because it is what I am. I know because it is what all things are. So, where there is no struggle, Should I pop this sucker in the eye or should I go on? If I feel like popping him in the eyes, I consider that I popped. If I don't, I don't. If he's going to hit me and I feel like ducking, I'll duck. If not, okay, so you hit me, so what? There's no struggle. But if you're going to pop me, and the body seems to have a way of taking care of that itself, it'll get out of the way. Most times, it just gets out of the way. Say, well, my body is slowed down. I don't know how it's going to do that. I don't know how it's going to do it. I don't care how it's going to do it. I only know that it does it. That's all I need to know. You see what I'm saying? No struggle. Being in the consciousness. Just resting in that consciousness. It's all okay. It's all okay. I have no problem. Just be that stillness. Be that recognizes the struggle. What recognizes the struggle? What is it that recognizing the putting together of the two things, or the coming together of two things by their polar energy? What is it that recognizes? That is what I am. That's exactly what I am. That's it. You know, it comes down to whatever you eat. It comes down to the expectations that parents have on children or families have on the people in that family. I'm looking at you. The consciousness looks at you objectively. And it sees mom's that asshole. Okay, well that's all right. If somebody got to be an asshole. And every woman is somebody's mother mostly. So I just recognize you for what you are. I'm not judging you. I may not want to spend any time with you, but I'm not judging you. You are what you are. What you have to say about me or what you want me to be or what you want out of me, I don't care what you want. I'm not going to allow you to tug at me and make me feel bad about what I am. No, I'm looking right at you. So there's no tug, there's no struggle. I understand you. Everybody's got to go through their insanity. And just because they're your mother, or your father, your sister, your brother, or your child, if you're nuts, you're nuts. You see that? It's not a judgment. It's not a put down. You just go, oh, okay. I see confusion. Okay, then you got to stop being confused. I'm over here. Can I come to the family reunion? Yeah, I can come. Hey, how you doing? You're so quiet. I am. Why aren't you? I don't say that, but hey, it's like, okay. All right, got to go now. Why? I got the sugar. I don't feel good. I got to go. Only when you have that tug. Only when you sit in the linear thought process is there a tug. But when you sit in your being, there is no tug. One of the things that will happen is when you sit in your being initially, before you come to a greater understanding, is you will have a reaction, and you all of a sudden in that ripple, it will be anger. It lets you know that you think you are right and it is wrong. That has to go. That has to go. It doesn't have to go for the world. It has to go for you. See?
Why would the explanation of the anger reaction being that that individual would think that they were right and it was wrong?
Because anger destroys you. And it makes you stupid. You have to understand. You have to let that anger, you have to do the technique enough times to let that go until you recognize you've been doing that all your life. You do the technique until you recognize and you understand. And then you let it go. It's let go. Because you see and you understand. But you have to do it and do it and do it and do it. You've been angry for 50 years. Now, you think you're just going to get rid of it? And you have to recognize about the energy. You don't have to recognize, well, this happened and I was frustrated as a kid. I wanted this, that. That's some psychobabble bullshit. That's where you pay $175 a session to some guy for 10, 20 years for. That's nonsense. It's the energy. The energy is the issue. I've said it before. The energy is when energy doesn't flow, it's what feels bad, not what you see out here. Because what you see out here, you've only responded to what you think you see. What you responded to is what's in here. what's in here that you've carried. That's what this means. No, it's not. What time is it, David? Oh, I can't see.
11:11.
11:11. All right. Look, let me explain this before I finish. I've said to you, everything is an electron cloud. That's what it is. That's what you're looking at here. But in your brain has been set up a mold of what a man or a human being looks like. It's only a mold. It's only an outline. What it is an expanse of all these electrons and stuff in this electron soup. So it's almost indistinguishable from anything else, from the wall, from the air, from space itself. That mold is set in the mind. Because of what you think, you put that on what you see, and that makes you see what you think you see. What you think you see is a lie. So when you have these opinions, it's not what you see. It's not what's there. So we project this stuff out on other people and other things, and they go, "Are you out of your mind?" Like Rhoda's husband, Jeff, who's a country boy, he said, "Are you out of your damn rabbit mind?" It's a rabbit with a little brain. Like that. You assume that, therefore you go through life making trouble. No. Now I'll give you another example of that, and that come to you, Kevin. I was lying in bed. And I kind of looked up. I was asleep. And there was a woman coming in my door. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Who the hell is that? And how did they get in here? And then they turned to go into the bathroom. They started to fade. Okay. There was no one coming in my house. There was no one going this way. I was having a dream, and as I woke up, in the darkness, like when you look at a cloud and you see animal forms and that kind of thing, that's the mold in here telling you that's what that is. The way the darkness was, it looked like the shape of a woman. My mind, the mold, started to make up a person going into the bathroom. Okay? Now someone would say, "You saw a ghost." No, I know what I saw. I've seen spooks before. This wasn't one. Okay.
I'm sorry.
You see what I'm saying about your mind and how you make stuff up out of this thing? That could only happen because I have a mold in here. It doesn't relate it to anything except that mold. Okay? So the idea is the recognition of that. I recognize it, poof, it's gone. Just like when you recognize, wait a minute, this anger can't come up. Well, then why am I projecting it out on the world? Stop that. And put the blame directly where it belongs. Directly on your shoulders, squarely. Because you're the one who has the mold of anger about whatever. And it doesn't matter whatever. The mold is what matters. To move that energy out of that gestalt and let it move out. Okay. The only thing that will clear up everything is to understand the nature of the mold of reality. Then you come back and it's like, okay, everything's cool. The whole thing is a damn illusion. The earth itself is an illusion. The sky is an illusion. The whole thing is an illusion. So why am I making it this important, my relationship between me and some other idiot? I'm being an idiot, they're being an idiot, and what are we producing? Idiocy. You follow?
Mm-hmm.
So, we don't need logic. Just stop. Stop that. Look at it from that perspective. And that way we stop projecting it. All right? So, that says we're not listening to the whole process. We come here to be stupid. Because you can only become wise by having been stupid. One side only recognizes the other side. You see what I'm saying? One side, you can't have one without the other. You can't have intelligence without stupid. Because there's no way to see it. You see what I'm saying? We come into life to add to God itself. And one of the things you find that I do is to help facilitate your journey all the way. No stops in between, no getting off the bus in St. Louis. We're headed to New Orleans, okay? Anywhere you want to get off the bus in between, it's my job as the conductor to say no. Now, I'm not going to hold you on the bus. Matter of fact, if you give me enough trouble, I'll throw you off around by Shreveport. Okay, you got to get off the bus. Because you're just making too much noise about nothing. You see what I'm saying? Go back, go on out there with the alligators and stuff. When they get through nipping at your ass, and you get tired of those alligators at your butt, you can come back. But until then, no. Because that's a part of the whole thing. See, this space here is about this ignorance. It's about this ignorance and moving out of it. That's what this is designed to be. It's like elementary school is designed to get you to high school. High school is designed to get you to college. College is designed to get you to university. You see what I'm saying? That's their design. This is grammar school. Hell, this is kindergarten. Somebody showed me a video that they made. They have a cat and a dog. A little Yorkie and a cat. Well, every morning, the dog sits on the cat's face. And she put this little voice with it. It goes, smell my butt, smell my butt, smell my butt. And the cat is like, he runs around, the cat lays down, he sits on his face again. This reminds me of the world. Everybody's running around, smell my butt, smell my butt, smell my butt. That's what we do. Okay, and somebody's going, hey, no, I don't want to. Okay. Well, the thing about it with dogs, they're merely saying good morning. That's the way dogs say hello. You argue with the language if you want, you know. The point is, it just reminds me of the world, of how we do things. We do things without thinking. We have thoughts, but we do things without thinking. We do things automatically. Reaction. Oh! Like, did you have a thought about that? Are you really a reasoning, thinking human being? See, one who sees that from their consciousness sees it for what it is. It's not worth all that. It's not worth all that. Getting beat up or beaten up or whatever all that is, it's not worth all that. That's just insecurity, anger, manifesting itself in the lack of understanding. When you are in consciousness, you understand. What is it you understand? Nothing. Just, it's not worth all that. And that's not even words, it's not worth all that, it's just. What's the issue? Direct, clean to the point, just like that node that sends the message, and the next node that slows it down, and the next one that speeds it back up again. There's a purpose at each thing along the way, and it has no brain to get in the way, therefore the message is clear. The message is clear. The atrials don't fight with the ventricles. That means if they do that, the whole organism dies. If a thing without a brain is that clear in its consciousness, what the hell does that say about us? What it says is that we get caught in our emotionalism. When that stuff comes up, automatically flares up. What do? Now, if you've been here 15 minutes, you know, do your technique. And do it, and do it, and do it, and do it till you get it right. That doesn't mean, you lash out at somebody else or have something to say about somebody else. It means you have come here to understand what your function is in this great cosmic heart, this great cosmic body. If that's what you're here for, then let's get it on. If that's not what one is here for, then you get it on someplace else. That's the deal. The deal is, let's get clear about what this is. And you can't get clear unless you look at yourself. Only. And I get people who say to me, well, yeah, I looked at myself, but they. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Okay, so all I'm saying now is we have to get to the point where we stop seeing the lie and we move back and see who we are. See truthfully who we are. See truthfully how we have connected ourselves to the lie and tried to make it real. It's not real. I am not the savior of the world. Guy did that. The last guy I know did that, they hung him on a cross. The hell with that. I don't need no nails in my hands and my feet. I got arthritis. I can't be hanging on no cross. Come on. This is just very simple. We need to keep it very simple. In our life, we need to keep our life very simple. We need to keep our process very simple. It's a simple thing. Simply move back. Ultimately, you will see who you are. You will see your reactions because you want it to be a certain way. You want it to be a certain way for somebody else. You want it to be that way so that they can keep you company because you want them to see as you see. I am alone. And that's okay. I stopped trying to get people to come along with me because they ain't coming. I accept the fact. I stand alone. People will say, I know you, right? I'm not going to say, no, you don't. I got nothing to say. I got nothing to say. I have nothing to say. I am alone, and we understand ultimately that we are alone. That doesn't mean that we can't share space with people. with someone. It just means that I'm not going to try to make you see anything. I am what I am. You want to come on the trip, I'll help you as best I can. The best thing to do, the first step, take your time. See who you are. See how you have become enmeshed with the mind process, and confuse that with who you are. It's not. Were you about to say something? It's not. It is not. Now, let's take it from that standpoint. You have to get busy to kind of stand and see. Take a moment. I don't know. Look at your navel. Look at the center of your forehead. Just for a moment. Till that quiets down, there's no quiet. And that which is just there. Then when the habit is not what you are, the habit is not your consciousness. When the habit kicks in, recognize the habit. Recognize the habit. What you are is still recognizing the habit. And the next thing, you recognize it for itself. The ocean recognizes the fish, but knows that it is that which contains the fish. It's not a swordfish, it's not a shark, it's not a seahorse, it's not a perch. It recognizes them, but is itself, if that makes any sense. And if it doesn't, work hard and rots a rope. Thank you. Peace.